Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Rabbi Aharon Attitude Adjustment. We're going to cover some basics today. If I told you that you could have everything but everything in life that you need to be loving, joyous, fulfilled, what would you be willing to give for that? Well, surprisingly enough, you might find it's certainly within your grasp, well within your means. Now, I was in business for a long time, and I knew a lot of people, and they thought money could buy them happiness. And they worked 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. They traveled, they were all over the world, and they made money. And they made lots of money. But they weren't happy, and they weren't joyous, and they weren't fulfilled, with very rare exceptions. They had problems at home with their family, with their wife, their children. They had, God forbid, health problems in their family. They had all sorts of problems that you and I would not want to have. But they had money, and they quickly learned money could not buy the way out of it. So money's not the answer. Let's talk about real joy, real love, real fulfillment. Remember what we said? Where does everything come from? It all comes from Hashem. And everything he does, because it comes from him, why would he waste his effort? It has a purpose. And that purpose, because he's a loving father, whether you want to believe it or not at the moment, whether you can see it or not at the moment, you have to understand it's for our best. Even if we can't see it. It's for our best. How do we know? What do you do for your children that's not for their best? Well, remember, Hashem is your father. He does for you as you do for your children, only to a multi-millionth degree. Okay? So let's start at the beginning. This week we have kind of something interesting in this week's Parsha. It's Vayikra. It's a brand new book of Torah. And the first word, Vayikra, you'll notice something very unusual about it if you look in Torah. Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So let's go to the beginning. Let's go to Aleph. Well, Aleph is the last letter of the first word, Vayikra. And if you look at it, you'll notice something very peculiar about it. Vayikra is all one size in the way it's written, except for the Aleph. The Aleph is smaller. It's minuscule. Now, this is not the only place in Torah where Aleph has been distorted. It's also changed in the book of Chronicles for the word Adam. Only this time, instead of being smaller, it's bigger. Because Adam knew that he was created personally by Hashem, the creator of the universe, and therefore he was special. This is a good point, something you should all remember, because you're all special. Each and every one of us is special. There's only one reason you're here, and that's to do something, and then make some corrections in your life. And whatever it is that you're here to do, there's not a living soul on this planet of 7.5 billion that can do what you are here to do, so that makes you special. However, let's look at Vayikra. It's the small Aleph. Why is this important? Because this was written by Moshe Rabbeinu, the greatest prophet, the greatest sage ever to walk the face of the earth. Hashem says Vayikra. Hashem called to him. It's an affectionate term. But Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't comfortable with this. He thought, maybe I could just say he sort of ran into me. So Hashem, no, he insisted. He wanted it Vayikra. So what Moshe Rabbeinu did is he did Vayikra, only he made the last letter, the Aleph, smaller than all the other letters. This shows his tremendous humility. This is a trait that is good for us because it reminds us that we are not the one that make things happen on this earth. It all comes where? From Hashem. It all comes from him. It all has purpose, and it all has purpose that is for our very ultimate best. When we remember that, it makes our life ever so much more pleasant. Because what happens is we don't see things anymore as should have, would have, and could have. We see things that can be. We see things we'd like to be. We see things we can pray for. We see things that we can be thankful for. We see things that we need to say we're sorry for, that we didn't hit the mark, but we'll try better in the future. So when we think of all these things and we put them all together and hit Bodhidut like we talked about before, we see that anything is possible in our lives, particularly with a partner like Hashem, our Father, who wants us to do well, who wants us to give us what we need, even what we want sometimes. But remember, what he gives us, He's responsible for giving, and He decides when. So if things don't come as quickly as you'd like, be patient. Keep working. Maybe you haven't done enough work yet. Maybe you haven't asked enough yet. Keep praying. Keep working. As a friend of mine used to say, you need to work as if everything depends on you, and pray as if everything depends on Hashem. Having said that, I wish you all a very, very good Shabbos. Next week I'm going to be actually in the United States. So I'm not sure that we're going to have a show next week, but I'm going to do my best to put something up anyway. In the meantime, you have a great, great week. I know preparing for Pesach is difficult, but it should be with joy in your heart. Remember, the chometz that you clean in your house is only part of the deal. The rest of the chometz is what's inside of you. Clear it out. Clear out the things that aren't holy, that aren't kosher, the things that hold you back, and keep you from living a joyous, fulfilling, loving life. Be well, my friends. All the best.